Okay, so welcome to the last part of the night. This only goes on for 3 more hours. First of all, a big thanks to James again for tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, James. Let's do another one. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next bit, we are having some technical issues, as you can see. The screen is glitching a bit, but the next bit is lightning talks. And what I said at the beginning, if you remember, is this is where anyone can get up and do a 90-second to 3-minute spiel about anything they want to do. Now, Matt's lucky, this is your second lightning talk? Yep. Oh no, you did one at...
I did Test Bash as well.
Okay, so you're third?
Yeah.
Professional? Yeah, badge of honour.
Actually, technically 4th, I did one last week as well.
Okay, so if this is shit, you're in trouble. Okay, so... no pressure, no pressure. So we've got Matt up first, then we've got Connor hiding behind the pillar, and then we've got Paul Blundell. Where's Paul? Okay, so we've got 3 lightning talks, but that doesn't mean other people can't get up after these 3. So if you want to get up and do a 90-second talk on anything at all, testing related, no lap dancing clubs, feel free to. So I'm going to hand over to Matt.
Yeah. Nice stuff. So, hands up who's going to Test Bash Manchester? Anyone? Awesome. If you're not going, get a ticket, beg, do whatever you have to go. It's awesome. I went to Test Bash Brighton last month. It was an awesome experience. I just want to share 3 things that I kind of took away as kind of tips if you want to go to these conferences. And number 1 tip basically is, we're all going to the pub later. Definitely go to the pub. If you're going to Test Bash, go to everything after the conference. Don't just go to the conference and then go home. Because after the conference, you can speak to people like Duncan, people like James. They're happy to talk to you. They want to ask questions of you as much as you want to ask questions of them. They want to learn from you as well. So feel free to go and ask them lots of questions. That, to me, is one of the biggest values you get from going to those conferences. It's not just the talks themselves, but being able to talk to all these really experienced people and everyone else there as well, not just the speakers. A second tip is, if you can, try and go alone. Don't necessarily go with people you know, because you're going to tend to just talk to those people. If you do go with people you know, try and challenge yourself to go talk to people you've never met before, because you're going to learn a ton from them. Test Bash especially, I imagine even the Manchester one, but especially at Brighton, there was people from there, like from Norway, Australia, Canada, all these different countries, all these different kind of cultures, different experiences, and you can learn a lot from them. So yeah, challenge yourself to go talk to people you've never met before. And my third one is, don't just go to testing meetups and conferences. Last week I went to the Manchester Tech Nights, and I did a lightning talk there, and there was no testers there whatsoever. It was all developers, architects, that kind of thing. I'd like, personally, to see more testers go to those meetups. We can learn stuff from those things as well, and also we can educate developers and architects and all these other positions in different companies about testing, and try and encourage them to come to these meetups as well. They can learn from coming to our meetups. And that's it.
So thanks very much, Matt. Well done. The next person up is Connor. Now, Connor's only been testing 6 months. So the fact that he's actually coming up to do a lightning talk, I think personally, is bloody fantastic. So Connor, get your skimpy little ass up here. Just hold it back there.
So, hi everyone, I'm Connor, and as Leigh said, I've only been testing 6 months, but I was fortunate enough to go to Brighton Test Bash, and one of the biggest takeaways I got from that was lean coffee, and I'm just going to talk about what it is and why you should be using it where you work. So you get basically 3 sticky notes, and you just have 3 columns, which is to discuss, to be discussed, or discussing and discussed. And you go around, you get a table of about 4 or 5 people and talk, and each one comes up with an idea and puts it in the to discuss pile, and then you vote on everyone's topics, and then the most voted topic goes into the discussion pile. And basically it's a sort of meeting with as little structure as possible, but to make it quick and efficient rather than old standard boring meetings. And it gets everyone involved because they're discussing the topics that they've just wrote. So Mine's gone a bit blank, sorry. It gets everyone involved, and people want to input more towards the meetings because it's their topics that they're discussing, so they feel passionate about it. So that was my talk.
Well done, Connor. I mean, to stand up here in front of 85, 90 people, I think takes a lot of balls. So well done, mate. And well done to Matt as well. So now we're going to hand over to Paul Blundell. Yeah.
So I'm the developer in the room. I've worked with a few QA people, but not that many. So the ones we have worked with, it's been most recently, and I just want to share some tips from our perspective to help us work better together. Don't take it as patronising, just take it as a learning, please. So Git, first thing you want to do as a QA is check the code out yourself, so you're not relying on me to check the code out for you. The next thing is build the code yourself. So you can, I'm an Android app developer, so you can build the apps yourself and then make your own release candidates and check for bugs without me having to make the release candidates for you, so it's more empowering. And then the third one is always check the logs before you come to the developers to say you've got a crash, show them what's in the logs. And then the fourth one is when you've got a release candidate on Android, usually the logs don't make sense, so you need to deobfuscate them because they're obfuscated when you release them to the public. So a quick one-liner tool will allow you to do this. And then some tools for testing on Android. There's the Battery Historian, released 28 days ago by Google, and this gives you stats on how your application is using the battery, and so sometimes your app won't crash, but it will hog the battery, so this is a nice tool to do that with. There's a code lab by Google for automated performance tests, and this allows you to automate scrolling through lists on your app and then pull down the stack traces and system traces to tell you if there is actually issues with your app's memory instead of doing it manually. And then I hope it comes back on because I don't remember them.
Chris. Memory leaks. Is the laptop dead?
Oh, and then memory leaks. So then you can check memory leaks by, there's a tool called Matt, and then there's a link for a YouTube video that shows you how to investigate memory leaks, and it'll show you exactly where they are, so you can go to the developer and show them what they are. And then Stetho is a tool you can use to read databases on your application. So if you can integrate it, it's 2 lines of code, or you get the developer to do it, and it means you can inject data straight into the database for your application through Google Chrome instead of having to do it some other manual way. And then there's 2 integration frameworks. So I'm an Android developer. I spoke to iOS developers, and I've got the name of that as well, but it's on the slides. And so Espresso, there's a good link for the tutorial, and Espresso is outside-in integration testing, so you can click through from the UI and automate that as well. And the same thing for iOS is called KIF. And then a really great one is Visor. So if you've got your phone plugged in, Visor is a Chrome plugin that will show you your Android device on your Chrome browser, which means you can then screen record, and instead of putting steps to reproduce in your Jira tickets, you can put a video or a GIF of the device. And that's it.
Anybody else that wants to do a flash talk? Come on down. So, contestant number 4, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
It's Ian Maguire. I'm from PlayStation. I'm a senior tester, and I've been there about 5 years or so.
Excellent. So it's over to you for your flash talk.
I want to get the caveat in straight away that I haven't prepared this. This is a spare of the moment thing, but I just wanted to quickly sort of canvass the room in terms of, this is basically accessibility testing specific, but for example, how many, just a show of hands, how many of people here know what Macathon is? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was way better than I was expecting, I'll be honest, 4 people. But what we normally sort of deal with when we talk about accessibility testing is the subtitles. I mean, especially in PlayStation for, video games, but software, websites, you're going to have sort of, you've got to allow it to be accessible. It's in the law, 2010, UK, you've got to allow stuff to be equally accessible by everyone. But when we think about accessibility, we've got to think more about beyond just, oh, is it for colourblind people? It's more sort of, you've got to get down to the nitty-gritty of making sure that you're not just, you know, something doesn't distribute information only using colour, for example, would be a colourblind one, but then you've got, can that person read? Because Makaton is a sign language for people who can't read. It's designed around people who might be deaf but also don't understand English. So we have to look up these sort of more in-depth accessibility sort of programs and enable them to have an equal chance, because I'm getting a lot of flash in there. But yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. And yeah, epilepsy. There you go. There's another one. Yeah. But
Serious?
yeah.
Serious?
There you go. But basically, I just want to give that as like an open sort of note as to when you're testing, or even when you're looking at something that someone's developing. We've got developers in the room, obviously. Think more about, what can I be doing to make this accessible from the get-go, rather than relying on people to later come to you and say, oh, this isn't accessible by certain people. And the more we do that, the more inclusive we can make it, and the more, I mean, at the end of the day, the more people can enjoy your product or can have your product. So it's good for everyone. So, yeah.
Any more for any more? Glib, come on down. Let's have a round of applause for Glib.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I am originally from Ukraine and now work for Shop Direct. So I just want to add about accessibility testing. So it won't take 90 seconds. So yeah. Basically, we just heard about how people in PlayStation test accessibility and aiming to test it, but I don't want everyone in this room just to go home and forget about it. So if everyone in this room just go home and try to order something on the website or try to use your app, just without using the mouse, just with the keyboard, just to register on your site and buy something. You just understand how accessibility testing is important, because after you try it, you understand. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Well done, mate. Any more for any more? Okay, so we'll just move on very quickly. This is almost the end now. In fact, it is the end. So first of all, I know we're having some technical issues, so I'll do it without the slides. Just the next slide is a thank you. Oh, and feedback. So just as well I did have the slide. Thank you for everybody that's come tonight. Without you, we are nothing. Well, that's a lie, actually. We'd be in an empty room with just 5 of us. But in effect, thank you so much for coming. It's been a fantastic turnout. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you've got some takeaways. I hope you've had a great time mingling with other people, having a beer, having some pizza. I hope you feel motivated about going into work tomorrow with some new takeaways to take into work. So thank you so much to you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. Yeah. A huge thank you to Launch 22 for hosting us again for our 2nd ever Liverpool Tester Gathering. So a round of applause for Launch 22. Yeah. And of course our sponsors, PlayStation. And a shout out to James Lyndsay. Again. And how good were our flash talkers, our flashers tonight? I thought they were fantastic. So a round of applause for the flashers! And again, the guys, I know I called it out at the beginning, but there is a team. I'm just the front of Liverpool Tester Gathering. That doesn't mean I am Liverpool Tester Gathering. It's actually the guys at the back that do all the work. So a big round of applause for the guys at the back! And before I move on to the big announcement, I just want to talk about Lorna.
Oh,
okay.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Yes.
no,
Yes. Yes.
please, no.
So Lorna at the front here was a little bit late tonight because she was actually in that building over there. She managed to blag her way into the 4th floor just by showing her pass, her Bet365 pass, and just blagged her way into the 4th floor saying it's okay, I'm with the Liverpool Tester Gathering, into a building that... Can you work that one out? Let's have a round of applause for Lorna! Okay. So, feedback is really important to us. There's a feedback box at the back where you can write your feedback, whether you like the beers or the pizza. Duncan, and again, just look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it? Who on earth made that? Jesus wept. Okay, so there's a box at the back for everyone to fill in their feedback. You can give us feedback on Twitter, on our meetup page, which I'll come to in a minute. But please, we can only make this work if we get your feedback. We had your feedback from the first one. We made some tweaks. We need to know if it worked or not. Okay. So on to the very last slide. I promise. Our big announcement. Okay. So currently, Liverpool and Manchester sit underneath the same umbrella, the North West Tester Gathering. We're actually splitting from that, and we're going to create our own Liverpool Tester Gathering umbrella. There's a few reasons for this. The main thing is that going on our own and setting up our own meetup page means that you will only receive notifications about the Liverpool Tester Gathering. If you want to know about the Manchester one, stay registered with the current meetup page. But in order to get notifications about the Liverpool Tester Gathering, you're going to have to register with our brand new meetup page. So there's a few reasons we've done this. I think it gives us more flexibility. It allows our sponsors to get more sort of airtime on the web pages that we put up. And it gives us more flexibility. So that's the big announcement. I would like to call out a big, huge thank you to the Manchester guys for actually putting up with me more than anything. So they've done really well to support us starting this meetup. And I think that's a great call out because they've put a load of effort into us getting to this stage. So let's have a round of applause for the Manchester guys who aren't here. And that's basically it. That's it, guys. Give us some feedback. Register with the new website page. We'll send these out to anybody who needs them. We'll be sending out an email, is that right? With the new...
Yeah, it's done tomorrow over the weekend.
Yeah, so you'll get an email that gives all this information out, okay? Phil will get the videos uploaded by 10 o'clock tonight. I mean, for God's sake. Okay. We are going to go and have some beers now, but before you go, can I ask that we have some help clearing up? We have to leave the place how we found it, which wasn't with chairs out and that. So we need some help putting the chairs back. Any bottles of beer, there's black bags at the back and all sorts. So if we could just have some help to tidy up the place before you go. But before you go, good night, Liverpool.